वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति।
गुरु ब्रह्मा गुरु विष्णु
गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः।
समस्त
कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्।
नीलाम्बुजश्यामलकोमलाङ्गं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं प्राणं महासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथम् अतुलितबलरामं
शैलावतीनं दर्शनदृशानुं ज्ञानिनामग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं
वानराणामधीशं
रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं
पार्थजातं नमामि। मनोजवं मारुततुल्यवेगं
जितेन्द्रियं बुद्धिमतां वरिष्ठं
वातात्मजं वानरयूथमुख्यं
श्रीरामदूतं शरणं प्रपद्ये।
We have done till chapter number 17. 16 and 17 we saw that whoever surrenders to Hanumanji or whoever takes the help also of Hanumanji reaches their own shreyas. So तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाय राजपद दी. That Sugriv was being served by Hanumanji actually. And Sugriv was the Amsha of Surya Devata. So Hanumanji learned from Surya Devata. Surya Devata was the guru of Hanumanji. We will come to that story. And when he finished his study, he said, what Guru Dakshina can I offer to you? So Surya Bhagavan said that my Amsha will be born as Sugriv and I want you to serve him and protect him. Hence Hanumanji was the minister of Sugriv. And it was Hanumanji who brought Ramji to Sugriv. Sugriv was very scared and wanted to run away. So not only he brought Ramji to him, meaning he brought spiritual knowledge, self-knowledge, Rajpadina, and also prosperity and the kingdom. Then Tumaro mantra Vibhishan mana Lankeshwar vai sabajag jana. Also to Vibhishan he said, go to the Lord as you are. Don't have any hesitation. Don't feel that will he accept me? I am the enemy's brother. I may be considered as a spy. Don't have any such hesitation. Go to the Lord as you are, and your devotion is what is really important, and surrender to the Lord. So again, Vibhishan's surrender also happened because of Hanumanji. And Vibhishan did not even have a desire. So the difference between Sugriv and Vibhishan is, Sugriv befriended the Lord for the sake of getting the kingdom, for killing Vali and to get the kingdom. Vibhishan didn't have any such desire. Vibhishan really loved the Lord for who he is. And he surrendered to the Lord, not with a desire to get the kingdom. So effortlessly he got the kingdom of Lanka. Lankeshwar bhai sab jag jana. So Hanumanji that way, we said last time that he himself has no possessions. He himself could have been a king of the monkeys. And actually he is the king of the monkeys in the sense that he rules over the hearts of all the people, all the monkeys. But materially he did not have anything, no kingdom, no possessions, nothing. And yet he had the capacity to make other people the kings. Now, going ahead, 18th verse now, speaks about some of his childhood leela. जुग सहस्र जोजन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर पद जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेरी मुख माही जगति लांघि गए अचरज नाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे थे. So he says here, Jug Sahasra Jojan Par Bhanu. The sun, who is thousands of miles away, he, as a small child, Hanumanji, when he was hungry once, and the mother was not to be seen anywhere, he saw the sun which was rising, and he thought that sun is a fruit. So he leapt into the skies, and he reached very close to the sun, and he was about to swallow the sun. Indra got very upset that what will happen to the whole creation, and so he struck him with a thunderbolt, and Hanumanji fell down. That's how he broke his chin and he got the name Hanuman. Now, this is a story that we have been hearing, and we feel, what is this? And some people do this very twisted interpretation of this first line. Juga means 12,000. Sahasra means 1,000. And Jojan means 1 yojan is equal to 8 kilometers. 8 miles, sorry. 8 miles. So they will add 12,000 into 1,000 into 8 miles. And they will say that is the exact distance between Earth and the Sun. That don't write that. That is not even true. That message is going round and round and round. Whoever said that 1 yuga is 12,000 years? Simply something people have twisted and put it there. Minimum age of 1 yuga, Kali Yuga, is 4,32,000 years. How did 12,000 years come? Simply because we want, in mathematics they have it. This is the solution. So now you work backwards, somehow do something and get that. So we know this is the distance between Earth and the Sun now. Now do some twisting, turning and then fit it into this. It is not saying anything about distance of Earth and the Sun. Juga Sahasra Jojan Par Bhanu. He saw the sun there thousands of miles away. He just leapt and he tried to swallow that. And he would have almost done it also. Lilyo tahi madhura palajanu. He thought that it is a very sweet fruit and he tried to consume it. Now this is a story part. What is the symbolism part of this? There are different aspects to this. One aspect is, as small children are not inhibited by our logical brain. Their minds are very imaginative, very creative. And they live, that's why their stories also have all these so-called impossible things, which we think from our standpoint, this can't happen. A child's mind doesn't think like that. So from the childhood itself, one is that he was very imaginative, he was very, very creative. Not only that, he was able to even achieve what he set for himself. So the sun represents the highest. From childhood, one who is able to think big, who does not have that barrier, if this may not happen, I can't do this. this is not possible for me, who doesn't have that kind of a inhibition. Sometimes children are very innocent, they don't know the consequences. But sometimes they are very creative also. And what they come up with, what they start thinking, our logical brain doesn't even imagine. So they don't have boundaries in their thinking. So one aspect is that from childhood his thinking was to reach the highest. His thinking was not inhibited. He never felt, I can't do this. And that is one of the ways to bring up a child. Not by telling him don't do this, don't do that, because that makes the person inhibited. Tell the child what should be done and what is good for the child. And if there is certain imagination part of it, let it be. So many times it happens, when we have, let's say right now we are having a Bhavihar camp, children's camp. And the theme of that camp is Hanuman. So we have different activities for them, and the whole camp is in a garden. There are lots of trees and everything. So what will a small child do? Will want to climb the tree. The talks are happening in a hall, in a small open hall we have there. So there is a pole also there. So some children will try to climb the pole also. But the moment they do that, what will we tell immediately? Don't do it, get down, you will fall down. Let him go to a certain extent, he will not hurt himself. After that you say, if you go beyond this, it is dangerous for you, come down. There are ways to protect the child and yet allow the child to explore. So how we bring up the children, the mindset in the child, the first few years, they are called the formative years. The whole self-esteem of the child is formed in those formative years. And those are first 5 years. In those first 5 years, if the child feels loved, the self-esteem of the child will be very good. And that child grows up to be a healthy human being emotionally. But in the first 5 years, if the child is constantly being reminded of his or her limitations, or is being inhibited, you don't do this, don't do that, child grows up with fear. And especially if the love part is not there, then all the more the self-esteem takes a big beating. And if you see the history, you will see some of the people like Hitler, what they became is because their childhood, they had a lot of trouble. So first few years of the child's life. So here it is that Hanumanji is the one who aimed at the highest without any limitation, without any inhibition, grew up with that confidence. Confidence comes from two aspects. One, it comes from love. Second, it comes from sense of achievement. So the more the child feels that sense of achievement, and the more the child feels love, the more the confidence and the self-esteem of the child. So Juga Sahasra Jojana Parvan. One is that he aimed for the highest without inhibitions. Second is sun also represents tireless service. So the ideals that the sun represents, the ideals of service, the ideals of the warmth of love, and the ideal of even spiritual knowledge. All the three from childhood, if they are inculcated in the child, that is the best. One is the tireless service, that serve people selflessly. Hanumanji got it from Pavan Devta also. His father himself is like that, who serves selflessly. So sun also serves selflessly. Sun is a symbol of the warmth of love and also the symbol of spiritual knowledge or consciousness. And because children's mind is not skeptic, they have a lot of faith, they are able to grasp the spiritual knowledge also much faster. You tell them Krishna is your friend, they will believe Krishna is my friend. Our mind will say, God, Krishna was not even there. We will start doubting his very existence. A child will believe Krishna is my friend. And so many concepts can be told to the child which we may think are very difficult, but the child will be able to grasp. Because the mind is not having skepticism. So, in this land especially, in our country especially, the spiritual knowledge which has been given is such that it has produced so many saints who have been so young. Shankaracharya ji took sannyas at the age of 8. Jnaneshwar Maharaj, 16 years old. Prahlad and Dhruv and so many examples, Markandeya. Lots of these who are small children, but who are so deep in their devotion, in their knowledge, in their service. So when he left towards the sun, it means that as a child, we can inculcate those samskars in the child, and the child is capable of grasping and understanding spiritual concepts. Even in Gurudev's life, if you see, in his house, a lot of elaborate pujas used to be done. And he had to sit through them, 2 hours in the evening. Vishnu Sahasranam, Lalita Sahasranam, and so many. Chanting used to happen. And naturally for a small child it is very difficult, 2 hours to sit and just keep doing the chanting. Elders only can't do. But the child had to sit and do. So then he started, he found a game for himself. So there used to be a picture of Shivji in his puja room. And when all the people are sitting there and doing the puja, he would very intensely stare at the picture of Shivji. And then close his eyes and reproduce the whole form in his mind. And as soon as that form goes away, immediately he will open the eyes and again see that. Again close his eyes, again visualize mentally. And he used to say, I am playing hide and seek with Shiva. And at that young age, he used to do the japa of Om Namah Shivaya. And he was very naughty. One day when his teacher came to his class, he had removed the, earlier days there used to be a chair, folding chair. And there will be one wooden rod. He had removed that rod. And the chair was there, and as soon as he sat, he fell inside. Then he used to play pranks with his sister. He would pull the choti and all that and run away, and a lot of things he used to do, very mischievous. But very courageous. So when one day the sister was very scared because somebody told her about ghost. So he said, don't worry, you just chant this name, Om Namah Shivaya, and you will have all the strength. And he had that faith in that mantra, in the Lord Shivji. If you see in his life, when he went to Lucknow and he started studying as a youngster, he became an atheist. Self-proclaimed atheist. Said, which God, what God, I don't believe in any God. And he was a revolutionary fighting in the freedom struggle. He was captured by the British, finally put into the jail. And the conditions in the jail were not very good. So the prisoners were dying one by one. And there was a lot of protest about this in the country. So they didn't want more prisoners to die, and Gurudev also fell sick. So finally they took him and threw him on the road and left him just like that. So he had a lot of typhoid and all that, and they just threw him. There was one lady who came, who was passing by that way, and she was a Christian lady. She saw and she picked him up nursed him back to health. And when he asked her that, I'm so thankful to you, but why did you take me from there? And he said, because your nose reminded me of my son who is abroad, and you look similar to him. So Gurudev in the later years, he used to joke that it is his long nose that helped me and saved me. So when he was nursed back to health, he in the prison, etc., he was going through some newspapers, and there he saw pictures of Swami Shivananji, and then he made up his mind to expose the sadhus. When he came out, he became fine. He went to Rishikesh to expose the sadhus, and he went to the Divine Life Society. And the whole spiritual samskar which was there in his childhood, everything came back to him there. When he started studying and understanding what is the vision of these people, why are they doing seva, everything. So the childhood samskars which are put into the child, they are very, very important. So here that's why he says, Yuga Sahasra Jodhana Par Bhanu Lilyo Tahi Madhura Palajanu. So sun represents the highest in life, something which seems even unimaginable to even achieve. And Hanumanji had the capacity to think that big. That is a quality for a leader who aspires for success. To keep the vision very high and to lift oneself to achieve that vision. Not that, a lot of people say, and if your vision is sky high, then you will reach the treetop. Not like that. If the vision is so high, one should have the capacity to reach that. One should lift oneself. So Hanumanji was that kind of a leader. And if you see in his life, all the works that he has done, they are like that, unimaginable ones. So only the sun represents the highest. Even in ordinary situations in our life, you can apply this. In any situation, if I have to take a decision, do I ask myself, is this the best decision? Or am I compromising somewhere? One who constantly chooses the best is a spiritual seeker. That is called Shreyas. Not who settles for the good or not who settles for something which is comfortable. Even the meaning of the word Partha is that one who chooses the best every minute. Pa means the Lord who protects. Artha means who desires. And the Lord is the best. One who constantly chooses the best, who never compromises. That is the secret of success. And who lifts oneself. In the Gita, the Lord says, lift yourself by yourself. Nobody else can do it for you. So each one of us has to lift ourselves higher and higher and higher and higher. To fall, compromise, takes away our potential. So Hanumanji represents the highest and the capacity to lift oneself to achieve that highest. Whatever it is, whatever that goal requires. And always we should remember that the higher the goal, greater is the inspiration which we should have and greater is the effort which has to be put. Both are important. Many times what happens, the goal is very high, but inspiration is not so much to reach it. And it is not sustained. It comes in spurts and then again it fizzles out. So the inspiration must be conserved. And this happens especially in the path of spirituality. What is the highest that a person can achieve in this world?
Self-realization.
Freedom from cycle of birth and death. Anything else?
Oneness with the
Oneness with God. Realizing the oneness with everyone. So moksha is the highest goal. One who keeps the eyes on moksha is a seeker. That every step am I moving towards that? Sun is the symbol of that. spiritual knowledge and self-knowledge. Moksha is the highest goal one can keep. Artha, Kama, Dharma. These are the goals in life. But moksha is the goal of life. And to constantly remember that I am a seeker of freedom. And every step that I am taking, is it taking me closer to that or away from that? Anything that takes me closer to that, I should do. Anything that takes me away from it, one should avoid. So when people say that this right and wrong is relative and all that, one of the criteria to know the right and wrong is this, that what takes me closer to my goal, which is the highest goal, that is right. So every minute, what I am choosing, if I make the best choice, the food that I am eating, the people with I am talking, what is the content of my speech, how much time I sleep, what kind of literature I read. In all these, moksha is not something attained suddenly one day. Moment by moment by moment, when I keep making the best choice, then I discover that the best in me is the self, not the buddhi. Very few people even discover the best in them, which is the knowledge, which is the buddhi. The discriminative power of the buddhi, the capacity to think, explore. And rare are the people who seek the self. Hence, anybody who has set their mind, this is the highest. Now, I said two things are necessary. One is that the higher the goal, the greater must be the inspiration. And that inspiration has to be conserved. It should not leak. Typically, what happens is it leaks out. So we feel very inspired after a camp or after a talk and say, yes, I am going to do 2-3 days gone. It's okay. Take it easy. Slow and steady wins studies. Somehow something one tells oneself and then again after some time one sees somebody and says, I wish I can also. Again. So one is that inspiration must be sustained. What sustains the inspiration? Is the feeling. Bhavana. It is not thinking which sustains inspiration. But feeling has to be conserved, and that feeling can be conserved only when every day one replenishes that. Many things are there. To conserve that bhavana is very important. In Narad Bhakti Sutra it gives that how one is to feel that feeling every day through satsang, through one's own sadhana, through the study, through sitting in solitude. This will all feed. I am talking about moksha. You can do that with any goal. And what will take away the energy of the person? Leak away that inspiration. That should be avoided. So in the Narad Bhakti Sutra, he says that don't keep the company of atheists, don't indulge in gossip, don't do overindulgence in the senses. All these drags the mind away from that state of inspiration and puts the mind into a very mundane, ordinary, worldly kind of a feeling. So there are many things in this spiritual path which one has to do to conserve that inspiration. And one of the biggest challenges in any aspect of life, whichever goal one has, is to sustain that inspiration. To get inspired is not very difficult, but to sustain that inspiration and to increase that inspiration. And one of the ways is also to invoke the grace. That, oh Lord, please help me to sustain this inspiration. Focus is another way. The more the mind is dissipated with too many desires, the more the mind is going to get exhausted. Focus and flourish. That's the mantra. So one is to have inspiration to conserve, and second is then to put that much effort which is required, because nothing is achieved only by inspiration. Lot of action is required. Our Guruji gives a very nice 3 equations he gives. Action minus vision is equal to division. That when I act without any higher vision in life, I only create divisions in life. So if I don't have a vision of a harmonious, happy family, I create division. In our country, we don't have that vision. One country we are. Each state wanting their own thing. We are creating division. So action minus vision is equal to division. It creates divisions. Vision minus action is equal to imagination. Big, big talk. This we will do, that we will do. Nothing happens. No action. So vision minus action is equal to imagination. But vision plus action is equal to transformation. If any transformation has to be brought, vision is required to sustain, and then inspiration is required to sustain that vision, and then action is required. I have to get down to the ground reality and work hard. And remember, the subtler the goal, subtler is the hard work also. So Gautam Buddha sitting below a tree looks like very unproductive, useless fellow doing nothing. But the goal itself is so subtle to transcend the mind and intellect. So action is not going to be at physical level then. It is going to be the action of, subtle action of controlling the thought, transcending desire. It is also action, and it is hard work, that is. So subtler the goal, subtler is going to be the action for it also. So this is Yuga Sahasra Jo Jan Par Bhanu Leelyo Tahi Madhur Phal Janu. Have a high goal, be inspired by it, sustain that inspiration, work hard to achieve it, remove all those things which are not conducive to it. And that is Yuga Sahasra Jo Jan Par Bhanu Leelyo Tahi Madhur Phal Janu. Prabhu Mudrika Meri Mukh Mahi Jaladhi Langi Gaye Acharaj Nahi. Bhagwan Ram, when he had befriended Sugriv, the pact was Sugriv will be made the king of Kishkinda, Vali will be killed, and Sugriv will help Bhagwan to search Sita. So when Sugriv got the kingdom, he became very happy, and then there was this rainy season. So he became very intelligent and he forgot. And Lakshman was getting very impatient. At the end of the rainy season, when Sugriv did not do anything still, Lakshman came there to the court, and he, in his anger, he showed almost he would have finished Sugriv. So then Sugriv woke up saying, okay, I'm sorry I became so careless. And he summoned all his army, everyone, so many monkeys and the bears, and all of them came. And he divided them into 4 parts. And he sent them into 4 directions. The direction which was going, the army which was going to the south was being led by Angad. And Hanuman, Jamban, Nal, Neel, all of them were in that group. So Bhagwan called Hanumanji and he gave his ring. Now you see that even if Angad is the leader, the ring is given to Hanumanji. Hanumanji did not even know what he is going to face. But Bhagwan had the Shraddha in him that he is going to find, because he will never give up. And he is the one who is a go-getter, who will achieve what he has set for himself, and he will come back. So he was given the ring. And he said, when you meet Sita, give her this ring and tell her that tell her my pain and tell her that I am going to come soon and rescue her. This is the Shraddha that the Lord has. See, the beauty is this, whether we have Shraddha in the Lord or not doesn't matter to the Lord. Bhagavan has full Shraddha in us. So he gave that ring to Hanuman. Our duty is only to build our Shraddha in the Lord. And when Hanumanji was given that ring, we know the story, he went and finally they reached the shores of the country. And they were not able to find Sitaji anywhere. And they were very dejected, very tired. Sitting there, so many thoughts coming into his mind. How can I go back? And Sugriv had told all of them that if you return without finding Sita, I will kill you. He said, I am going to let down my master, I am going to let down the Lord. And how do I go back? And what will the Lord think? How much his pain will increase that none of us have been able to find Sita. And he was thinking all that, very dejected. And there was an old eagle on the mountain top there. And that eagle's name was Sampati. So this Sampati, he thought that so many monkeys have come. Such good food has come to me after so long. The grace of the Lord. And he was about to attack them when he heard these monkeys talking about Jatayu, that Jatayu, how much effort he put, now all that going to be go for a waste, and he sacrificed himself to protect Sita ji, and Bhagavan Ram did his last rites also, and this Sampati suddenly heard that Jatayu, they are talking about Jatayu, and he had not known about Jatayu's whereabouts for a long time. Because he was old and his wings had been clipped and he was on the mountain. So when he found out everything, then he said, okay, let me help you. I have seen Ravan carrying Sita across. And he had a long, what do you call it? I don't know. He could see far. So 100 yojan is the distance between India and Lanka, at least that time. That is 800 miles. So he saw and he said, Sita is there in Lanka. Now everybody was thinking, at least now we know where is Sita. She is in Lanka. But now the next point is, who will go across? Who will cross 800 miles? Go there, give the message to Sita ji and then again come back. But you can't tell Ram Bhagwan without meeting Sita that we know Sita is there. So now everybody is again thinking. And each one says, I can go 10 miles, I can go 20 miles and I can go 100 miles. Finally Angad says that I can go 800 miles. Then I don't have the capacity to return. And when all this is happening, Hanumanji is sitting very sad and dejected, saying, who will go there? It's such a huge ocean. It is then that Jambavan comes in and reminds Hanumanji of all the glories and all his powers that he had been given as a child. And he was cursed by the rishis that till somebody doesn't remind you, you will not be able to use these powers. You will forget that you are so powerful. So when Jamban actually told him, suddenly he remembered all that and he said, yes, I have all these powers and I can go across. What is 100 miles from me? 100 yojan from me. I can fly as much as I want. So Jamban there becomes the guru for Hanumanji and awakens his powers. And Hanumanji decides, yes, I am going now. So there is a mountain there called Mandar mountain. And he goes and stands on that. Sits down. And the description that he has given there, in a very brief way it is given. A very beautiful description. How a rocket takes off. Like that it is given. Hanumanji takes off. He folds both his hands. He is sitting down. and with great force he kicks the mountain and launches himself. So he uses the Mandar mountain as a launch pad, and he launches himself, and he tells everyone that move away, this mountain will crack under the force of the impact in which I am going to take off by pushing this, it is going to crack. And he takes off. Now, before he takes off, he bows down to Pavan Devata, he bows down to the Lord in his mind, and he said, this is the work of the Lord that I am going to do. Until I don't finish this, I will not rest. And so when he says here, Prabhu Mudrika Meri Mukhmahi, now he did not want that Mudrika to fall anywhere. And he did not have a pocket and all that. So what he did, he actually held that Mudrika in his mouth. What is the literal meaning? Prabhu Mudrika Meri Mukhmahi Jaladila Ungi Gaye Acharajanahi. It is no wonder that he crossed. But other meaning of Prabhu Mudrika is the name. The name of the Lord is always on the lips of Hanumanji. So chanting the name of the Lord, he crossed over. What did he cross over? The whole ocean. The ocean which is unimaginably vast. Nobody else could even do it. Hanumanji said, I will do it. Now this is important to know, because how much ever glorious, see, Hanumanji had a lot of power with himself. And he could have as well said that yes, I am going to do on the basis of my strength. But that strength becomes an ego issue. And one gets stressed out. When good work we have to do, when great work we have to do, the stress also is greater. The reason why stress is greater is not because of the work. The reason why stress is greater is because of the self-importance, because of the ego, because of what I imagine myself to be when that work is over. I will be so famous, or I will be so successful, or I will be so rich, whatever. If that is the prime motivation, then there will be stress, because then there is attachment to that result. But if the goal is very high, and I have the capacity also to achieve it, and I surrender that, then I achieve great things without being stressed. That is another secret of success. That how to be stress-free and yet be successful is to hold on to something greater than me. However powerful I may be, I need to hold on to something which is greater than me. And the greatest is the Lord. All the power that we have, the thinking capacity, the working capacity, efficiency, everything that we have, inspiration, is one tiny, small, little part of the infinite glory of the Lord. And if I remember that, not only it will keep me humble, but it will keep me stress-free. So here he says that it is the glory of the Lord and the name of the Lord that I am able to cross through this whole ocean. He did not say it is my power or the power of Vayu Devata, nothing, or the blessing that all these Devatas have given to me. He said this is the glory of the Lord. So in our hearts, when we have that feeling that whatever power I have, oh Lord, it all belongs to you. Even the spiritual pursuit that we are able to pursue is all because of the grace of the Lord. So he holds the name of the Lord in his mouth. And that ocean, symbolically, the ocean is the analogy always given for samsara. That this cycle of birth and death, the realm of change, is the ocean. Jaladi is the ocean. Is this vast, immeasurable ocean is the life that we lead here. Samsara Sagar it is called. How will we cross over this Bhav Sagar or Samsara Sagar? by the name of the Lord. In Kali Yuga especially, just the name of the Lord is enough. Tell me what is more powerful, name or the form? Why not the form? Form can disappear, but name can also be forgotten.
By taking a name form.
By taking the name, form comes.
Name also leads to vibration, which is tangible.
Name also leads to vibration. Okay.
It's not possible to carry the form everywhere, but
Ah.
the name is easy to take.
Right. Easier to hold on to the name. Form comes and goes, as she said. We do forget that name also, but the name is more tangible to keep repeating. To repeat the form in the mind, difficult. So in Tulsi Ramayana there is a small portion in Balkan which is about this name of the Lord. We are just going to see that in a few points and then move on. It's on, right? Yeah. So what is the power of the name of the Lord? The name of the Lord is called as a mantra. Right. So the mantra, literal meaning is two meanings it has. Manana trayate iti mantra. By reflecting on it, a person crosses over this ocean of samsara, the realm of finitude and change. And man tarayati, that which takes the mind across, means one which helps us to transcend the negativities, limitations, and transcend the mind itself. So this mantra is very, very powerful, and Ram itself is a mantra. Very powerful mantra. Only two alphabets, Ram, Ma. But extremely powerful mantra. Shivji himself takes the mantra. He chants the name of Ram. Ramji chants the name of Shivji, Shivji chants the name of Ram. And interestingly, the devotees of both of them fight with each other. Very good. So anyway, Ram is a Maha mantra, not just ordinary mantra. So Hanumanji had that Ram mantra on his lips. What does the mantra do? So when you repeat that mantra, it is called as japa. So constantly one repeats, Prabhu Mudrika Meli Mukhamari, means to keep repeating the name. Either actually with the lips or mentally, but keep repeating. And this repetition of the name is called as japa. And japa is etymologically split as Jakaro Janma Vicheda Pakaro Papanashaka. That the cycle of birth and death one can transcend just by repeating the name of the Lord. And so many great masters have done that. Samatrananda used to say, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Gurudev and Vivekananda ji did Om Namah Shivaya. Hanuman ji did Ram. Dhruva, he did Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And in Japa there is one very powerful sadhana that is called Purashcharan. Purashcharan means in a specific span of time, one chants the name of the Lord for every alphabet that is there, that many crore times. So if Ram are two alphabets, then Purashcharan of Ram will mean you have to do 2 crore times that japa. Imagine some people in our culture, Samachandas first he did the Purashcharan of Gayatri Mantra. Gayatri Mantra has how many alphabets? Come on, at least we should know that. 24 alphabets. Gayatri mantra, the meter Gayatri has 24 syllables, 24 alphabets. So first he did the japa of that 24 crore times. Imagine Gayatri mantra. After he finished that, he did the Pura Charan of Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. That is 13 alphabets. 13 crore times. That is japa. Just imagine that mind, how single pointed that mind will be, which has done this japa constantly. It is that Arjun who used to do the japa of Krishna. And even from his sleep, the sound of Krishna used to emanate from his body. Krishna, 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 Krishna. So that is called japa, and that is the sadhana, is called Purashara. So just by chanting the name of the Lord, we should have that shraddha that the Lord's name will take me across. Whether I have fear, I have depression, I have excitement, I have anger, any of these negativities, the name of the Lord is sufficient to take us across. I said earlier, I think, there is a book called Mantram Handbook, written by a person called Eknath Ishwaran. Very nice one. Simple one. Mantram Handbook. Penguin publication. Mantram Handbook. And in that he gives all this. How to use a mantra. Eknath Ishwaran is the author. Actually, if you want to get his book, get the best book he has written is called Meditation. And he gives 8-point program in that. You follow those 8 points in life, spirituality is done. You don't need anything more than that. Everything is done in that 8 points. Simple book, but very powerful. Meditation is the name of that book. And one of those 8 points is repetition of the name, mantra. So, mantra is very powerful. Jakaro janma vicheda, pakaro papa nashaka. Papa is the agitation of the mind. Mind which is dissipated is agitated. Mind which is single pointed is powerful.
You had said that the same person has talked about mantra with breathing and walking.
Mantra walk also.
Is it the same?
Same book. He also advises that mantra walk. In that book you will find that. Mantra walk means what? When suppose the mind is very disturbed, walk briskly and synchronize the breathing, chanting and the walking. For a few minutes we do that. The energy which would have otherwise gone into some destructive ways can be channelized. These are simple methods that he gives in that, but very powerful ones. So now japa means this, jakaro janma vicheda pakaro papanashaka. Not only it can destroy the sins of the mind, it can also take a person across the ocean of samsara. So japa by itself, mantra by itself has a lot of benefits. At physical level, the mantra creates vibrations that can heal the body and help to purify the mind. At the mental level, lots of places, that's why we do home and havan and all that. Even physically it creates a vibration to purify the energies in that place. Then mental level, yes, definitely the mind becomes balanced and calm, and this practice has to be done every day, consistently. If you take a resolution that okay, 1 mala of japa I will do every day, and you have to stick to that. You can even start with a small. Always start small and grow big. That's the best part. Don't start suddenly saying I am going to do 11 malas of japa. 1 mala. And even in that 1 mala you want to start with a small 27 bead mala. As we keep enjoying the japa, by yourself you will feel like increasing. So, mind becomes calm and balanced. Intellect becomes very sharp. Because when the mind is calm, intellect can think very clearly. So, it increases the concentration, analysis, decision making power, discrimination and all that. and you contemplate on the spiritual meaning, it helps us to unite with divinity. Because Ram does not mean only the form. Ram means consciousness that revels in everyone. So that way mantra is complete in itself. You don't need anything else. Just the name. Enough. Now, this is the power of the name. It is said that the form is the form is with the object, but the name is with us. That's why the form can appear and disappear, but the name we can keep chanting. Without the name, the object is not known even if it has a form. So suppose I want to know who this person is. Even if that person is in front of me, but if I don't know the name of that person, I will not know, oh, this is Mr. So and so. I have to know the name. Otherwise we will never recognize him. So the name remains with us. The name introduces the form to us. And the beauty of the name is that the remoteness is brought into closeness. And the person, when we remember, may be far away somewhere, but the moment we remember that person, the feeling arises in our heart and the distance is bridged. So when somebody loves, let us say a mother loves the child and the child is abroad somewhere, the person is abroad, but the feeling that arises the moment one thinks of the child, that bridges the gap. So the remoteness is destroyed. The farness, the distance is destroyed and the person is brought remote and the feeling of love is invoked. And when the name is chanted, the form will be attracted to it. That's another aspect. Valmiki Rishi was Ratnakar earlier. He had not even seen the Lord. And he was not even taking the name of the Lord fully, in the correct way. He was saying Mara Mara Mara. And yet, the chanting of that name brought Ram to him. That's why we say Nam Mahima. The name of the Lord is tremendous. So I've given the example there is, you may not know the form of the person when you go to the airport, supposed to pick up somebody, but the name is known. Then earlier days, so we didn't have this technology of cell phone and all that so much. You go and stand with a placard. Today you can send a picture, the person knows how you look and all that. So name is very, very powerful. And Ramcharitmanas, it is said, knowingly or unknowingly also if chanted, the name unites us with the Lord. And lots of saints have said this. That whether you know it or not, if somebody puts water on you, what happens? You will get wet. Or you go and jump into the water in a lake. Whether you know the name of the lake, you don't know how deep it is, all that doesn't matter. You jump into the lake, you get the benefit of taking the bath. Same way. Lots of Mahatmas, lot of people think, that why should I do all this chanting? First I should know the meaning. And they don't teach the children. Saying, let the child grow up, then he will know the meaning, then I will teach. They don't teach them the mantras and all that. And the child's age is such that when the child is small, the memory is most receptive. One can learn and remember so much. As the child grows, the meaning will unfold, but teach the chanting. So the name, however it is chanted, with meaning, without meaning, has a lot of power. But when it is done with meaning, of course the power is, we are able to invoke much more within ourselves. Name introduces both Sagun and Nirgun. Lot of people think that only devotees take the name of the Lord. And we are formless worshippers, we don't believe in the form. But how do you know that which is formless? Without using the word Sat Chit Anand, can we know formless? We don't know. Aja, Avyaya, Nirgun, Nirakar, these are all pointers. And they all are pointers to know the same Nirgun Tattva. So the Nirgun also is known only through the name. Not that only Sagun, Sakar, Rup is known through the name. Both Nirgun and Sagun are known only through the name. So that's the beauty of the name. Whichever name you take the Nirgun or you take the Sagun, but take the name. Shivoham, Shivoham, a lot of people do. Who is that Shiva in there? It's consciousness. It is not that, I'm going to imagine myself as Shiva with some Ganga on my head and all that. Nirgun Nirakar Rupa is. So name is that which helps us to introduce both. We have this saying in Hindi which says, Prabhu se bada, Prabhu ka naam. Why? Because when the Lord took avatar, He liberated only few people. But the name of the Lord has liberated countless number of people. This is a Naam Mahima. And when we know this Naam Mahima and we do that with Shraddha, how many of us do japa with that Shraddha that today I am calling out to the Lord and the Lord will come? If that Shraddha is there, that Ananda also will come. That's the avatar of the Lord in my heart. But if we say that, okay, I will do 108 times, okay, Ram, 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 Ram. How many times over? 30 times over. Ram, 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 Ram. Do we sit with that bhavana that I am going to call the Lord and Bhagavan will come? That's the bhavana. A very strange thing happens. We keep remembering our own friends and relatives and children and beloved and spouse and all that. And sometimes even you remember them and you call them and they will not reply. Or they will not respond. And Bhagavan though is waiting to respond to us, but we think that he is not going to respond. Ulta only happens with us. That's why Gurudev said the world, how much ever you hold on to, will slip. And the Lord, how much ever you reject, will not ever leave you. So with that bhavana I chant the name, that I am taking the name of the Lord is not some ordinary mantra. It is also said that why name is more powerful than Ram, because Bhagwan Ram went through lot of difficulties. 14 years of forest and then Sita Ji was taken away and pain and sorrow and so much he went through. But the name doesn't go through any problem. Bhagwan Ram killed a few demons externally, but the name kills all the demons within us. And so, how many demons the Lord killed? Much more than that, the name of the Lord kills. Bhagwan broke a dhanush of Shivji. The name breaks the whole ocean of samsara. How bandhan it breaks, bondage of transmigration. So this is the power of the name of the Lord, and here he says, Prabhu Mudrika Meli Mukhmahi. How this japa works? Logically it works like this, from many thoughts about many things to single line of thinking, that only the name and the form of the Lord. From there only to the name of the Lord, and then from there to the silence. So every day when we do this japa, the mind of that person not only becomes pure, becomes single pointed. Lot of latent energies in our own personality. Some people call it energy of the chakras. Some people call it the, what is that? That Sushumna Nadi, that Ida, Pingala and Sushumna. So that latent energy travels, Kundalini Shakti will travel. For a devotee, there is nothing more than devotion to the Lord. So the devotion is invoked in the heart of the devotee. So every day the devotee chants the name of the Lord. And how do I chant? Most important criteria is devotion and single pointedness. Invoke love in the heart. Don't start mechanically just chanting. Invoke that love in the heart, that Bhagavan, I love the Lord. And when that love is invoked in the heart, then we start the chanting. While chanting, we should not do anything else. This I am saying when we are sitting down to do sadhana. At that time, don't do anything else. Single pointed attention only to the name and the form. Repeat it fast in the beginning and loudly. If you start doing mental japa, mind will go to sleep. We always start fast and loud. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. You start that way, loud and fast. Then slowly reduce the volume and the speed, and then slowly make it mental. By the time the mind would have got used to the japa and the chanting is ingrained. So that way we chant the japa, and if you find the mind wandering, we don't have to curse ourselves, we don't have to say what a fool I am, still my mind is wandering, nothing. We just say, we just bring the mind back to the mantra chanting, that's it. So that way mantra is repeated, and what can I focus during the chanting? I can focus the form and the sound, both. In the beginning both are necessary. Or I can focus only on the form. Sometimes if I am just feeling the love in the heart, and I focus only on the form. Like how Gurudev used to do, only the form. Or I can focus on the words of the mantra. So actually you visualize Ra and Ma. So form is more grosser and easier to hold on to. But sound is more subtler. As I do this sadhana and mind becomes purified, then from the form I can focus on only the sound, remove the form. In the beginning, let the form and the sound both be there. Otherwise what happens to us is, we chant the mantra in the mind, but the form is something else. We are thinking of some person, some memory, some enjoyment, and chanting is going on. So if you find that that is happening, then bring the name and the form together. Always focus on both. And as the mind becomes more tuned, slowly let the form go. Focus only on the sound.
But if the mantra is like an abstract, like Aham Brahmasmi or something like that, then how do you get the form and the name?
First of all, Aham Brahmasmi is not a mantra for japa. It is a mantra for nididhyasa. Japa is a much preliminary sadhana. So if Aham Brahmasmi you are doing, then the contemplation in the mind is, the bhavana is that I am Brahman. There is no form there, there is no repetition there. It is a bhavana where you tell yourself that I am not this BMI, I am the Supreme Truth, pure consciousness. So what you understand by that consciousness has to be brought into the mind.
Instead of the form.
Yeah, but not a lot of words. Not that consciousness means Satchidananda, it is the substratum of the whole universe. It is that from which the universe arises, stays, goes back. No verbalizing. That's why that all happens in the Manan stage. Actually, I lift my mind saying that I am that pure consciousness, I am not this, and remain there. If again the mind comes down to the body level, again lift it back. So nididhyasana is different. I am talking about japa. Japa right now is to make the mind single pointed and pure, where the name and the form is being used. You can even, when you slow down the chanting, focus on the silence between the two repetitions. So that way different things one can focus on. Last comes the meaning. Best would be this, that when we finish this japa, at the end of it, few moments we spend in thinking of the meaning and our identity with that word. If that I do, and then I get up from the japa. If it is Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, I not only finish the whole japa, But at the end of the japa, I say, what is my connection with the Lord? I feel that connection, that the Lord is in my heart. I am one with that Supreme Lord who is consciousness. That is Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And stay in that for a few moments and then slowly get up. So that is the focus during the chanting. Now when to repeat the mantra? Every day in a fixed place, fixed quantity, fixed time is very important. No compromise in that. Whatever else we do at other times is a bonus. That should not be counted as a substitute for not being able to sit down and do. So a fixed quantity, if you can maintain a fixed place and time, nothing like it, because the place localizes the vibration and the same time helps the mind to quiet faster. But if that is not possible, at least a fixed quantity is a must. Because the mind is very fickle. And that's exactly what we want to overcome. It will say that, today I am feeling very inspired, I will do 5 malas of japa. Next day it will say, today I think it's not so great. 1 mala is enough. And third day it will say, I don't think I need japa today because I am feeling really fine. Even without japa I can manage. That's what fickleness is, that we need to get out of that. So every day a fixed quantity is best. And at other times when you can repeat, when you wake up, we can start japa. Before eating food, we can thank the Lord by chanting the name. We can take a mantram break while we are at work. Every 2 hours, 1 hour, we have to get up and start walking. Take a mantram break. Coffee break helps to put on the weight. Mantram break helps us to drop the stress, reduce the weight. Mantram break you can take. When negative emotions overwhelm, one can take. Fear, anger, jealousy, at all such time mantra helps. When we lose equanimity, when some success comes and we get very elated, again that time mantra can come. When we have fear, we are nervous, we are not able to perform, mantra helps. So a lot of places mantra can be used. It should become a part and parcel of our life. And very powerful sadhana that is. A lot of time we spend in waiting for a bus, doing something which is very mechanical. Repeat the mantra. We can even do this for other people. So when we dedicate it to somebody, it's very simple. We invoke the name of the Lord and the form of the Lord. And before we start the japa, we say that I dedicate this to such and such person and visualize that person. And feel the grace of the Lord on that person. And then chant the whole mantra. And when the japa is over, again visualize that person. And say that I dedicate it for the well-being of this person. Mantra has that power. And the sense of, the dedication brings the effect of that to the person to whom it is being dedicated. So, this is the beauty of the name of the Lord, the mantra of the Lord. Prabhu mudrika mele mukh mahi, jaladi langi gaye, acharaj nahi. For today we will stop here. Next Sunday also our class will be at 8 o'clock. We chant the Hanuman Chalisa. The symbols where play, no? Manjira. Somewhere here you don't have. Bhajan class, where do we play? Oh, okay. We should get one copy and keep it on one set. Shri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nijamanu Guru Sudha